little season, and why I think, my theory is that, like, when you look at Paul and Jude, right? They were defending themselves from people who are like questioning, like, where's the where's the coming that you promised? Where is it now? And I'm making feet for my chair, by the way. And as we all know, like in the past, the disciples didn't understand Jesus. Like, they thought that he was the Messiah of Yahweh, right? He's come to destroy all their enemies. And then they misunderstood that he was not there to affirm their law, but he actually fulfilled it and put an end to the curse of the law, right? Because the law is a curse. I will talk about that later. I'm sure a lot of Christians don't understand what that means, what that it actually totally means in full. So the return was also something that perhaps they misunderstood. Like, they think that he was gonna come back and again fulfill the messianic uh, covenant of Yahweh. But the problem with that is Yahweh's day, the day of the Lord, is actually demonic. Like Jesus said, he's not come here to judge. He did not come here to destroy, but he appeared, he manifested so that people might be saved. Saved from what, right? Well, saved from the destruction that was coming. Because if Yahweh had his way, then I think he already has his Christ, the Caesars, right? The Caesars were Christs. They were saviors of the world, right? So Yahweh's promise was that it's going to be a dark day, that he's going to burn everything, right? And the little season, eschatology, accepts, has this mistake that they think Yahweh either is the Father or Yahweh is Jesus. But neither of those are true. If you study it carefully, you can look into this quite simply by looking into Bobby Collier. Now, Bobby Collier's channel is the Good God channel. Good God, GOOD, right? And he has a playlist there about the Old Testament God and how Jesus contradicts Yahweh in a lot of ways. And actually, please go ahead and study this. This is very important. Because we Christians, again, like I spoke about before, love to avenge ourselves. We really want to punish the world. And that is not the mindset of the true God and Father. The mindset of Jesus and what he wants us to do is to forgive and, to heal. Like his prayer, right? He said, so that they may be one as we are one. And then, in contrast, Yahweh wants us to be separated. He is a racist God. He has his favorite children or group, and he wants this group to if you read the prophecy of the day of the Lord and the hope of the Hebrews or the Israelites, it's world domination. Like if you read it, it's kind of weird because like God comes in, burns everything. It's like Independence Day moment, and then he's gonna rule on his like temple, and then everybody's the remnants, the survivors are gonna come and like bring sacrifices to him daily. And you know how much destruction that would cause. Like if you burn everything, right? You burn everything, and then so the animals that you have to sacrifice now, and imagine how many people are going to be left. Like if there's only a few people that are going to be left, then maybe the ecosystem would survive. But if there are a lot of people that will survive this invasion, and you know the problem is, uh, myself included in the past, I can't see the evil of this. I think that I thought that I was made to believe that we are justified in our hatred and in our wrathful behavior. That's simply because we've justified a lot of what Yahweh has done and his mindset, right? And we never really listen to Jesus. We don't look at his words and see it with fresh eyes. And if you see it with fresh eyes, and this is what happened to me, like in the Bible school, I was the first question that came to my mind was, what is salvation really? Right? What is salvation? So when I started reading Romans chapter 1, the spiritual thing about it, the weird, I was praying. It has been like a long, like maybe 2 months of trying to figure this out. I went through a lot of research about this, not religious, but everywhere. The first time I wanted to do a Bible study on Facebook, so I opened up Romans 1 and I started reading it. And the weird thing is, when I started reading, I kind of like suddenly the things that I was taught, like this is a weird thing about us Christians reading the Bible, right? When we read the Bible, like our eyes are running through the words, right? And our mouth are speaking the words that we're reading. But then it has become like this practice, but then our minds are not seeing new meaning to it. We're just reading it for the sake of reading it, and then but we already know what that means, right? So it's like when you're looking at evidence, but you already have a preconceived idea about what that evidence means, so you're not going to see anything there unless somebody tells you that look for the cat hidden behind the bush, hidden in the picture. But when you were looking at the picture for multiple times, like your entire life, you never thought that there was a cat there, right? I hope you're getting what I mean. So that's what happened to me. Suddenly, maybe this is God's way. Suddenly, when I started reading it, nothing's coming to my mind. No, like, of course, we were told what Romans chapter 1 means, right? But what does it really mean? What was Paul saying? Why? Why did he open his letter like that? And what was he talking about? The wrath of heavens revealed, right? So that was just the beginning, but it was like it cascaded into everything. And I know it's hard to let go of Yahweh, the vengeful God, especially for people who have not experienced the fire that Jesus was talking about. But there are a couple of moments in the New Testament where we see that people that Jesus was talking to like experience fire inside them. And he was talking to his disciples also with this, that they're gonna feel this burning inside them because he was teaching them things that kind of broke their expectations and their beliefs. Like, for example, you were taught your entire life that Santa Claus existed, right? And then suddenly you find proof. You start looking at this TV broadcast about Santa Claus, and you start like thinking maybe this is not real. And I'm not saying that God is not real, but what we believe about Jesus, his Father, and Yahweh may not be correct. Maybe that's why a popular pastor's son, who who's who his message is always about God's love, right? And this a funny thing about Christians who hold on to Yahweh as their God is that they think that love, Jesus' kindness and love and mercy, is weak. They call him the weak version of Jesus. And if Jesus doesn't burn the world, they would mock him as a weak version of Jesus. They would say, this is so weird. They would say like, oh, people don't believe that Jesus is gonna burn the world, and that's a very weak Jesus, and they mock him. They think the soft, gentle Jesus and the portraits, they mock that, and that symbolizes the Jesus that his head is tilted and very kind, compassionate, loving, and they think that it's weak.